Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, I'll be frankly honest with you, this is the second time I've recorded this because my microphone decided not to work, and it turned out it was the USB lead. So the other one, I'm going to chop off and stick it in the bin. Bloomin' thing. Right, today's topic, Bruce and Fixed Wing Fridays. Happy days. We've got... I'm still laughing about this one. We've got an update on the EASA. We'll get to that one in a moment. Black Friday deals. Really struggling to find stuff this morning. In fact, let me just quickly go and have a quick refresh of HobbyKing. No. What else have we got? Some wood arrived. Yes, some wood. You'll find out about that shortly. So, moving back to our original topic, Bruce Simpson from RC Model Reviews has announced that he's going to be doing Fixed Wing Fridays. Yay! That is definitely happy days. He has noted that it won't be starting this Friday, it will be starting next week on there. And he also did mention, which is actually a very serious topic, is that he started to get some of the shakes, which I know from some of the pilots up at specifically one of the flying clubs. It is a very, very frustrating, extremely frustrating. And there's always good days and there's always bad days. So I'm lucky I didn't get the shakes, but at the moment, put it that way. Well, maybe if I drink too much of that stuff, it does kick in. But yeah, how frustrating, Bruce. I feel it for you. I really do. But on the bright side, Fixed Wing Fridays. By the way, it doesn't necessarily need to be Bruce flying, does it? Could be Ron, and we know that Ron is a right legend. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, is that the BMFA have announced that so there's some updates on the EASA. The key 3 points, there is a fourth which we'll get to in a moment. The key 3 points which we need to know about on this one is that the EASA has been granted the competence, not the best choice of words to be honest, to regulate unmanned aircraft below 150 kilograms. We all saw that one come in, as we heard. Simon mentioned this a while ago. There was an absolutely hilarious comment in here as well. EASA reported that a significant number of responses had been submitted by the model flying community and not all of them were polite. Pete, that was you. Well, what did you expect? To be frankly honest, it come out of nowhere and trying to turn a hobby upside down. Batteries charged. Enough on that topic. The other point to take away from this, it appears that Dave Phipps was present at that meeting. And also is, let me just scroll back up on here, is that an area which I want to point out, okay, is EU aviation standards are already high. Even so, the growing use of drones and threats and terrorism and cyber attacks, blah, 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 okay? Basically, cyber attacks is utter bollocks. That can be, you can just ignore that. That's just PR hype, okay? Let's face it, they do talk about registration of drones, etc., etc. Do you really think that somebody who has ill intent is going to go, oh, before I do this bad act, I better get on the interwebs and fill out a form about my drone? Bollocks, are they? Absolute BS. So what I actually do feel these new rules all boil down to is that if you go blah, 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 oh, let's make some money. Okay, this is what I frankly feel where all of this has come from, is civil drone technology could account for an estimated 10% of the EU aviation market within the next 10 years, according to blah, blah, blah. About 15 billion. Basically, this is the politicians going, oh my God, this could be pretty big. And we need to get some taxes in place. Which, frankly, why didn't they just come out and say that? Which they never will. And you can kind of tell by the way which it's worded, it was written by a press officer. So everything which is going on at the moment is because basically they forecasted that it could be 150,000 jobs in the EU by 2050. They're just covering their asses for a couple of years' time. In short, you'll never get that kind of language out of a politician. Well, most of the words which I've said in this episode probably won't come out of a politician's mouth or in written form. But why didn't they just come out with that? Look, we think that drone and civil drone technology could be big. So we want to put some rules in place for this later on. And not go underneath the BS markings of threats from terrorism, because they will never register their models. Like I said, before I do this ill deed, I'm going to grab my iPad and I'm going to go and register it on the intervals. BS. And cyber attacks, that's just BS as well. That's just PR speak to try and wake up. So why would you even include that? It's just rubbish, in short. So we all got to feel the risk, some pain in this by the looks of it. I'm sure there will be some more stuff about this later or over the forthcoming months. Right, next topic, Black Friday deals. Frankly, I'm struggling. And I genuinely mean that. And I know that, well, now it's 06:54 and there isn't a lot out there today. I can tell you, I've already been out there hunting. Just reloading again the HobbyKing website to see if we've had anything. No, we'll get back to HobbyKing in a moment. I went across to GearBest and had a nose around. No, nothing on there. No, it's not even worth mentioning, to be honest. By the way, do have a look around yourself, and I'll put links to everything which I cover in the video description below for you. The one deal, which is kind of too late for me because I've already been and bought another one, the EagleTree Vector. So if you are based in the UK, RC log, if you put the code BLACK16, again, I've just verified it myself, you can get basically 19 quid off an EagleTree Vector system. So if you were in the market, BLACK16 is the discount code for that. That's happy days, but do note that's only the Dean's connector. They've ran out of the XT60s, which is what I'm personally waiting on. Banggood's Black Friday sale. Utter rubbish. Let's not knock it too much. There are a few deals on the top, which there's only ever one product of in most of those deals. I've been through them all. Nothing took my personal fancy. That may be different for you, but I went through and had a look and couldn't find anything. There was one deal, I'll point it out to you in a moment. So instead, I found two what I would class as good offers. I wouldn't say they're Black Friday sale standard, but they are good offers. Now, the first one is the Wing Z84. I'm sure you already know by now how much and how highly I regard the Wing Z84. It's an absolutely amazing model, and I feel that everybody should be able to own one. And when they come in at below 30 quid, so right now they're $35, which in pounds sterling, that is, and save, 30 quid or so, 28.62 and a bit of postage, which by the way does mean it'll be with you faster. Well, then basically faster than what HobbyKing sends it from their EU warehouse. Work that one out. So yeah, Wing Z84. It's just an amazing model, absolutely amazing model. Now there was a deal which came up this morning. I'll show you in here. Is the FX61 did come up on one of their Black Friday sales on Banggood for 90 quid. I didn't actually buy it. I genuinely did not buy it. And the reason for that, it is a big model. And I've been lusting over the clouds for days now. And if you don't know what the clouds is, go back to yesterday's coffee chat and you'll see what I mean. It's a fantastic model. So yeah, the Buffalo was out there for 90 quid. That was a decent saving. It has been at about 115 quid for quite a while now. So it was a good, say, that's 90 quid, 115. Yeah, it was a good discount on it, to be fair. but it's a 2 meter wide. It's bigger than my FX61, and the FX61's a big model. Just didn't get around to buying it. Enough said. The other one which I've been and found on Banggood this time is the MG90S servos. Those servos which I use. Let me just get the calculator out. What's it doing in dollars? Let's swap that to pound sterling. There we go. Save. Right. So in a moment it costs £10.38 divided by 6, £1.73. So for £1.73 per servo, they are epically cheaper than the HobbyKing plastic geared servos, and they are metal geared. That is kind of a no-brainer. You've seen how many you've seen me have these arrive here with me. I do think they're really, really good. They do have limitations, like trying to put them in a stupidly overpowered Texumo. We do hit the upper torque range on them. But that aside, I've only had 2 duffers. One of them turned up and it didn't sound too great on the servo tester, so I just ripped the lead off and chucked it in the bin. The other one, I broke it with my arm on the elevon walking up the slope. Yeah, I don't think that whack. Yeah, a more expensive servo would have probably got its teeth ripped out by me going bang on the elevator. So, yeah, £1.73, cheaper than the cheap plastic geared ones on HobbyKing. Enough said. Last topic for today, well, last but one, is I've got some wood. No, seriously, I was sent some wood. I didn't order this model. I've checked my order history. It's not in there. I've checked my emails. I can only assume that Banggood sent it to me for review. I don't know. I had no warning on it or anything. It just turned up here. So I had a stab at building it. And yeah, what a curious thing. Now, I think the guys over on Facebook are frankly just waiting for me to build it and then stuff it in the ground, which is, to be frankly honest, what's most likely going to happen with it. So I've got some photos here. Now, it turned up in this little box, and it really did flummox me. Like, it's made of wood? You're looking at the guy, which makes nearly... Yeah, that lot over there is all foam. I do own some plywood models. I've got an Edge 540, a Hummer 3D, both sat in the cellar, just not got around to doing anything with them. And I do have the original glider, which my dad built when I was about 12. So yeah, technically I own 3 wooden models, and this is now my 4th, or the very first model I've built myself. So I've got it here next to me. I've got some photos to share. Let's pop that one up on the screen. Oh yeah, big screw up. You'll see that little lump over there. That should have been down that way a bit. So I cut that bit off and then got another bit and just put lots of glue on the opposite end. You kind of tell where this one's going. I did make a screw up in here. You'll see these. That one's in focus. Well, that one's even worse. What I'm at. We've got some ribs coming through, and then you'll notice that there's a little slot over there on the right. Yeah, there was some extra ribs to go, or like half ribs to go on the front, which I kind of spotted after I started to glue up the front rod in there, or the front spar. So I managed to get those in. Yeah, the pictures on the kit were absolutely crap. And I'm mostly just looking at the photos on the Banggood website. There's the end piece. There was some extra vertical supports to go on the ends. And yeah, there's the wing there. What else do I got going on? Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's probably a lot easier for me to just show you. So the wing section apparently is the hardest piece to do. I didn't find it particularly difficult at all. Like I said, I've never built a wooden model before, and the only one which I've only ever had any interaction with before was a glider many years ago, unfortunately. And that's it. I think I've done a pretty good job on it. It's straight, which is always a good point. I've put the little hinges in. I've kind of glued those in. I think that was like the best idea for me to do that. It does need covering, and it's a bit sparse in here, to say the least. But that said, put a bit of covering on it. That's going to get nice and rigid very quickly. Yeah, it's going to be good fun. Oh, I glued this the lid up this morning. So last night I ran a glue all the way along that edge and pinned that side in, and I just left it to set. And then this morning, you'll see the bits of toilet tissue on there. I just put some water on the bit which was the piece of balsa there, put some lots of glue underneath, and then it was actually wanting to bend down by itself, which is always a good sign, I think. And then I've just held it down by hand. I was going to put elastic bands and stuff around it, but frankly, I don't think it needed it. And I've just put lots of pins in it. So there's no weight in that at all. But even when I go and add some covering to it as well. So, yeah. First thoughts on the kit? Oh, it's made of fucking wood. Oops. Sorry, no edits episodes. It's made of wood. I tell you what they have done is that they've left parts of this kit vague and a few pieces too long, okay, to make it feel like you really are building a model, right? So instead of cutting all these pieces out by scratch, blah, 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 there's enough of it done to make it a relatively quick build. Now, I actually think if you've had building experience before, you could have this done in 2 days, and that includes the time for the glue to dry. Yeah, you could be up and flying within 2 days. So I only got this yesterday. I'm this far in, and I've just glued up the bit on the front. Unfortunately, I don't have any time to spend on this for the rest of today, so it'll probably drag on for a couple of days. But on a serious point, maybe if you were retired or had a bit of time spare, you would be able to knot this together in 2 days. And the reason why I'm saying 2 days is for the glue time, just for that to set. And that includes covering, getting the servos in, and a little motor on the front. So yeah, I'm actually quite impressed with it so far. It's been quite an enjoyable experience. If I'm 100% honest, I understand why people enjoy making balsa models. On the flip side, this is probably going to be the only and probably last balsa model which I personally build for quite a long time. I do much prefer the speed of foam builds, because I'm very open on this. I would frankly rather be flying than building models. But I do appreciate other people are wired differently and would like to spend more time actually building them. And to be fair, for 20 quid, including delivery, it's not that bad. So yeah, I'm looking forward to flying it. And it's not very big. I think I measured it up earlier on the previous one when I screwed it up. It's got a wingspan of about 60 centimetres, so not very big at all. And also, frankly honest, perfect for flying out the front. Now, you've heard me mention that quite a few times about being able to fly out the front. All the other flying sites where I normally fly to are like 20, 30 minutes in the car to get to them. So anything which I can fly at home is happy days. I don't have a car journey attached to it. So you can see why I'm being really positive about that. It's because I'm genuinely looking forward to flying it. Don't have to drive half an hour or thereabouts. Right, so quickly coming back to HobbyKing, because I'm now half an hour on from when I first recorded this. Still no updates on any Black Friday deals. And to be frankly honest, looking at what's out there at the moment, it's pretty crap so far. Wing's L84, some decent metal geared servos. Wing, I'm just going to stop talking about those. I genuinely think that every modeler should at least fly one once, or at least own one. I'm on my third. They are brilliant models, and some metal geared servos. That's kind of like the best which I can find out there at the moment. And do note, it's 7 o'clock on Friday morning in the UK. Okay, so that might change later. But HobbyKing, even if they do a half-ish good deal on some products, it's going to be happy days for HobbyKing, because the other sites out there, they've set the bar so low. HobbyKing really can't screw up today, to be frankly honest. Now, the only model, and last night I trawled through the HobbyKing site and looked at a load of different models, and some of you may think, oh Matt, you're always picking on HobbyKing, blah blah blah. well, to be honest, they have kind of warranted it lately. Let's be fair here, haven't they? They have kind of warranted it. But that said, HobbyKing do stock some absolutely fantastic models. That is for sure. So the models themselves are generally very good. The only model which, and I went through pretty much all of them last night, the one model which would make me go, oh, I got to go buy right now, is a Tundra. And the reason for that is that I just genuinely would like a Tundra, but I'm refusing to pay, what is it, £158 for that? That's just bonkers. So at a price point at around about 100 quid, I get the card out instantly for it. And the reason why I've set that budget to 100 quid is just because of reality. What am I going to do with it? Take off, land. Take off, land. And I'm just going to do that repetitively. You've seen the size of the flaps on it. That's all I'm going to do. And if I'm just doing that, or coming in, doing a touch off, and then going back off again and doing the same in reverse, how long do you realistically think that model's going to last me? Yeah, you'll see why my budget is 100 quid for a Tundra. I just don't think it's going to be able to cope with the amount of beatings which I will give it. Just because it's got big flaps. That sounds so wrong. So, right. In summary, time for me to go. Thank you ever so much for joining me today for today's RC Coffee Chat. In summary, announcement from RC Model Reviews, some fixed wing Fridays. Happy days, Bruce. Really appreciate that, fella. Really do. EASA update and those comments, that comment in there was hilarious. And frankly honest, I think it all just boils down to money. That's what I genuinely feel on this one. It boils down to dosh. Hence why that's hidden away at the bottom. HobbyKing have the option, or the opportunity, should I say, of redeeming themselves for the diabolical Cyber November which we've had. But we have one ESC, and we had a camera which was worth $19.99, and not a cent more. We also how bad the wide dynamic range was on it. Not good. And yeah, Black Friday deals, bit of a wet fish. I'll put links to the Wings Z84 and those servos. And if you want to have a laugh at what I'm building, the GEEBEE Balsa wood. Balsa wood! Who knew? I would be making a balsa wood model. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. What I should really do is take lots of pictures, that's what I will do actually. I'll take lots of photos of my build. I haven't done a build video on it because it's just been like ad hoc. I'll just do a little bit there and here and wherever. But I will do a build episode, like a build overview episode on there, because the instructions which come with it are just diabolical. And if that helps out a fellow pilot, well, that's happy days. And we'll just walk through the process which I took. And then we'll have a maiden flight, which hopefully, everything crossed, won't be our last flight as well. So yeah, who knew I would have a wooden model? So with that said, which I'm sure this is going to be stone cold. Yum. It is. From myself, Matt, thank you for joining me for today's RC Coffee Chat. Fingers crossed for some decent deals out there today. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, UK time. Not looking good right now, to be honest. HobbyKing, time to... Enough said. From myself, Matt, thank you for joining me today. Cheerios!